All right. Good morning, JD. How are you? Ouch. Just getting organized. Good morning, Candy and Pete Corzo. Welcome. So today, I'm going to take a minute, let everyone kind of come in. But today, we're at the last one, and it's kind of just the full circle moment. So if you've seen this post up at all from me, that's what we're talking about today. And it's pretty exciting because once you recognize that moment and reflect back, you really do get to recognize how far you've leapt forward. And that becomes extremely important. So, sorry, trying to get organized. And then at the end, I'll pull some cards. Good morning, Long Last. When I'm done the message, I always pull some cards for confirmation because Spirit likes to show us what we're doing. Also, I want to take a minute. I created a post about it. But don't let it, when you think you don't have enough space, don't let it take away from your ability to have fun. I wanted to show you, this is our door tree. It's attached to our door. But we made it. It came out pretty damn good. And something that started out last year was completely out of necessity. But we weren't going to let it get us down. This year we decided, instead of buying a tree, we were going to do the same thing. And really what we did is took our necessity and turned it into a tradition. So now my daughter and I got to actually make our tree. And I think it turned out pretty good. So we're pretty proud. And it doesn't take up as much room. So it was a win-win. Welcome, Pierre and Silk and Arjun. Welcome. So today, and MG, welcome. 10:01. All right, we'll give it. Ontario guy, welcome. So at the end, we will, and if you miss it or you have to pop in and out, you can't catch the whole thing, you want to go and check it out, you can always go to my YouTube at Creativity Guides Me. And I always post the replay, usually about the same day. Welcome, Cheryl. Good morning. Can always go there. Also, if you see any of the logos here, this is my website, www.creativelyguided.ca. You can go there for my healing teas and all the good things. Welcome, Aiden and Real Provost and Chris. Welcome. Yeah, go check it out there. I have lots of guided journals. I have artwork. I have all handmade stuff. My teas made with intentional rituals to be more present. Lots of great things to check out there. Pretty Nikki, welcome. Good morning. Susie. And I'm not sure what your name is, but welcome. What is that? I don't know how to read your name, but welcome. All right, so this is the full circle moment. We've gone through the whole thing, but you've met your shadow. You've walked through the fire. You've listened in the stillness. Sorry, give me just 1 second. Okay. I just had to make sure because I'm waiting on a delivery and I just got a message. Sorry, guys. So, welcome, Tongue Speed. Welcome. And October, baby. Welcome. And Felicia. So, you've met your shadow. You've walked through the fire. You've listened in the stillness. Now you return. Not the same, but more than you ever were before. Healing doesn't erase who you were. It integrates every version you've been. The light you carry now was forged in honesty, tempered by courage, and softened by grace. Welcome, Frank and Alanda and Mandy. This is the full circle. It's not an ending, but a homecoming. So welcome back to yourself. This is the moment where you understand all of those tools that I used got me here. And each step of the way, I learned. And you're always going to be learning. So when you understand that and you accept every interaction for what it is. If it's aggravating or upsetting, what is it trying to teach me? And if you can get to that space and just getting curious, okay, so if these things keep coming up, there's something here that it needs to teach me, whether that's standing up for ourselves better, knowing our worth, understanding what those anger points are, what everything is. Now, when you get to this full circle moment, you now have a tool for each one. You have a few tools that you know how to understand, that you can, pull out of your pocket and say, okay, I'm going to use this and see how I can understand this. Welcome, Sam World and Alejandro and that guy and Izzy. Welcome. Okay, so healing doesn't erase who you were. It gathers every version of you. Sorry, I keep my talking points so I don't lose it. Because sometimes I love to go off and tell stories and we could be here all day. So I try to keep it somewhat limited so we don't go crazy. Welcome, Sheena and Jimmy and Lula. It gathers every version of you and brings you home. The light you carry now, it was forged in honesty, tempered by courage and softened by grace. This is not the ending, this is the homecoming. Now, meeting your shadow was the first turn of the wheel. The shadow isn't the bad part of you, it's the unacknowledged part. This is really important to understand. Just because they say shadow or the negative side of you doesn't mean it's the bad part of you, because that's where most of your power comes from, right? It shows you your fears, your patterns, your wounds, not to shame you, but to free you. So those things don't hold you back, right? When you go through and you're ashamed of that time you got angry and you yelled at that person that you shouldn't have yelled at, you can't go back and undo it. But what you can do is acknowledge it and move forward, and not hate yourself for it. If you can, always apologize. If you can't, you apologize to the universe and you just say, I understand, I recognize that was not okay, and it will get passed on, always. The universe will make sure that your good intentions are very much shown. Welcome, Stargold. So, shadow work is simply honesty without judgment. It's just loving ourselves, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And when we can understand that and understand how to accept those parts of us and sit with them and understand it, then that's where we really get to expand into our greatness and with all the tools we need. Welcome, Corey, Sweet Angel, Mason, Manny, Meow for Galaxy. What? I'm not sure what that means, but interesting. Okay, so walking through the fire, okay, the purification. The fire doesn't destroy the real you. It burns away what isn't yours. This fire is where boundaries were born, where rage clarified what needed to end, and where anger showed you what mattered, where fear sharpened your courage, right? So each turn of this wheel and each section of this transmutation, which is alchemy in its purest, most simplest form, we're explaining all of the things. And if you missed any of them, go to my YouTube. I have all of the lives there. So with the tools, the ways to get curious, the ways to understand, and how to sit with it and not fall back. Because sometimes these parts are uncomfortable. And we get to that space where we're like, oh, I'm screwing up. Why am I so upset? Why am I so angry? Because there seems to be this miscommunication where people think that healing and being of the light means that you have to be toxic positivity. And that's not the case. We all have a dark side. We all have traumas, triggers, all of these things. And the more we ignore them, the more they come back to bite us in the ass, right? Welcome, Buffy and Luke and Manny and Karina. Welcome. So right now what we're trying to teach is how to sit with them and understand them. Just by getting curious and not judging yourself. It's just asking questions, simple reflections, things that when you can remember these questions and these spaces of time, give yourself that pause, that moment to say, wait a minute, I don't need to rage out on this. This is not something that I need rage for, but it takes me directly to a fear that brought this fear in me. What is that fear? And is that fear legit? Is that something that is going to kill me? Is it something that I can overcome? It's just asking yourself questions, right? And then understanding your power. And the more you get through that and you don't have those things holding you back, afraid of snapping at any minute because you're raging out because you haven't been holding this resentment that isn't yours to carry for so long, right? When we can learn to process those things and let them go and then sort through what is real, what isn't real, what what is a fear that just, yes, when I was 6, maybe that mattered, but now I'm an adult and that doesn't matter, right? And when you can sit with that and understand that, that process allows you to step forward in anything you do. You know how to advocate for yourself in a kind way, right? You're being respectful, but you're firm, right? These are my boundaries and you cannot cross them. Welcome, V. Garcia and Huge, and Kathleen, welcome. So then we also had, this was the season of becoming, right? This is how we understand what those boundaries were, how we were going to stand up for them, and why they were so important. And when we understood all those things, it became a lot easier to understand what we were doing and to step forward in that knowledge, right? And then listening in the stillness, integration. And this one is hard. For me, it was always the hardest. The stillness almost killed me because I didn't understand it. Welcome, Annie and Shelly and Jacob. Welcome. When you're listening in the stillness, what you're doing is this is your stillness. This is where you're sorting the things and letting go of all of the things that don't serve you, the things that don't matter, the things that are negative programs, limiting programs, things that allow you to think less than of yourself. 10:10 on the clock. Thank you, Spirit. So when we think of it like that and we understand it in just that way, in that still point, we released all that stuff. So we have like this, almost feels like a void. It's not a painful void, but it's just uncomfortable because we made room. And now we have to sit and we're waiting and listening and understanding and trusting ourselves. I've done the work and we're waiting for that new information to come in. The good stuff, the good people, the good places, the good things, the good ideas, all of the things that propel you to your best self, right? And that stillness, we're actually going to get into it again coming this Friday. We'll be talking about it in the new content series, Grace in the Grind. Because this still point is something that when we can learn to maximize that, to use that to our best benefit, not just sitting there, understanding exactly what we're doing. We process, we release it. Now we get to dream big. Now we get to say, okay, I'm not holding on that negativity because I believe the universe has my back as long as I'm stepping forward in faith and integrity and heart and mind coherence. The universe has my back. So I know that I'm going to do well. And yes, I'm going to have to do work for it. I'm going to have to step out and do all of the things. But I don't have to do all of the things right away. And as long as I'm making the steps and I'm actively doing them and I'm doing them with integrity, with heart, and with compassion for ourselves and for others, then we know that we're going to be supported all along the way. And that's the stillness. And we really want to learn how to maximize that, especially in the crazy seasons like Christmas and that. So that's why this one is really important. And when we can understand that uncomfortableness, that space that for a moment feels like a void, but it's not. It's not a heavy void. It's not a scary void. It might be uncomfortable in the first moment, but once you understand what it is, that void, that space becomes a space that you can let all this good stuff in, right? You've been releasing all the other stuff, and now we want to let in all the new good stuff. So learning how to sit in receiving mode is very hard for people that are hyper independent, have trauma, have had to support themselves along the way. It becomes very hard. So any way I can make that a little easier or more understandable, it's not going to scare you back into old ways because you're going to be right there prepared and understanding, yeah, it's uncomfortable for a minute. But if I can sit here and just get curious and just listen and just trust, and trust is hard, I know. But when you learn to do it, and the more you learn these tools and the more you understand these steps, this trust point becomes a lot easier to accomplish, right? Welcome, Ray J. So, the pause is not a setback. It was the settling. Wisdom needs quiet to root itself. Peace became possible when you stopped reacting from survival and started responding from awareness. Such a big difference. When you go in survival mode, it's life or death, right? There's two options, life or death. So you're going to pick the least of the two, right? You don't want to die, so you're going to choose the other option. But when you're out of survival mode, all of a sudden there's life or death. or maybe I could do this, or if I did this, then this is possible, but if I did this, it's the highest best for everybody. And there's much more pathways that open up. There's much more safer ones, and much more things that aren't going to create more chaos for you in your life. So learning how to do that comes in that stillness, and it's really important that we can see that we're not in survival mode anymore. We're learning to understand that stillness, and now we're using it to our best benefit. Kalanjo, is that how you say it? Welcome. Okay, so the wisdom needs quiet to root itself. Peace became possible when you stopped reacting from survival and started responding from awareness. You learned to trust yourself again in the silence. And it's true, because to get to that point, you had to go through quite a few other steps, right? And some of them, they happen so quickly that you just automatically process them, because obviously a lot of people don't just jump out in rage. That doesn't mean it's never going to happen, but most people don't. So you've kind of already understood. Rage is kind of already off the table. I understand that almost never is that going to be the first thing that I start. Doesn't mean I'm not going to feel it, but you know that feeling that rage is automatically going to go down to anger, fear, and you can flip through and go, oh no, I don't need that one, but I need this tool. I need to understand the kindness. How do I be kind to myself and to someone else in this moment? Those are when you learn the tools and how to process exactly which one you need, right? So that silence and that awareness becomes such a great space for you to just, for one, even if you don't make the right choice, you're going to be like, oh, that one didn't work out so great, so maybe we're going to try this one next time. But that's called being accountable, right? That means, okay, I didn't do the best this one, but it takes practice. So nobody's perfect. So would you yell at your friend if they made a mistake? No, you're going to be like, it's okay, we'll figure it out next time, right? You're going to treat them like that. So why wouldn't you treat yourself that way? What we need to do is start treating ourselves the same way we would treat our best friend every single day, no matter what. The good, the bad, the ugly. You don't hate your friend when they're going through something and just stop worrying about them, making sure they're okay, checking in on them. You don't do that because it's your friend and you care about them. So why would you not want to check in with yourself, right? So then we have returning to yourself. Full circle. This is where we're at. This is where we got to. You didn't come back the same. You came back with clarity. You're not repeating old cycles. You're closing them. This is the moment the past no longer owns your future. You know you're not. You trust yourself. You know that you have the tools. You know that you're not going to step out in negativity, resentment, any of those things. You're going to sit with it until you get clarity, until you understand what's happening, and then you're going to move forward with clarity and intention, but you're going to move forward. The intention is not going to be to harm somebody. It's going to be accountable, to stand up for yourself, and to make sure that your boundaries and your own peace is protected at all times, as much as possible. Welcome, Andrew and Josu. Welcome. Sorry, I just need a drink. I make really good coffee. Okay, so you didn't come back the same. You came back with clarity. And you're not repeating old cycles. You're closing them. This is the moment the past no longer owns your future. The versions of you who carried the pain finally get to rest. That is a space that literally you can be like, when you've been carrying your stuff and everybody else's stuff and everybody's expectations and all of these things, the limiting beliefs that have been programmed into you since a child, through school, through parenting, through culture, through traditions, through stereotypes, through all of the things. There's so many different things that just weigh you down all the time that sometimes a lot of people don't even understand who their actual self is, right? We get to a space where we don't even understand. Hi, Michelle, welcome. And Founda, welcome. So there comes a space and time where you're like, do I even know what my passions are anymore? Do I even know what it is? Because I've been so busy holding everybody else's crap, I don't even know my own. This space that you've been learning to get to and to come full circle teaches you that clarity, teaches you what doesn't matter, and shows you truly what does. Welcome, Kimberly. So now we're the integration as a harvest. This is the full circle. This is where you start seeing the bounty, the reward from the things you've been putting out. and checking in with yourself. These are where you start seeing the goodness around you, start seeing the gifts and the miracles, and being so grateful that you have no choice but to smile. And yes, you are happier and much more positive, not toxic positivity, but your outlook becomes a lot more happy because you understand that if people aren't kind to you, that's their issue. That's not something that you're doing, right? So are you going to hate them, or are you going to think maybe they're just having a bad day, or maybe they're going through something? They're just not at that level. You understand to have that compassion because now you've learned to have it for yourself. So once you learn to have that for yourself, you know, it's much easier to give it to somebody without being obligated to do all of the things for them. Because when we do that, we enable them, and then they don't get to learn their own lessons. And if they don't get to learn their own lessons, they're never going to find their true center because somebody's always jumping in and saving them. And I'm not saying don't help people when emergencies happen or crisis happens. Do what you can, but understand that you know, it's like when a kid's keeps touching the stove, and you're like, no, you're going to get burnt. No, you're going to get burnt. You know, you can't go burn yourself to show them. You know, they're going to have to keep doing it. If they don't listen, they're going to have to find out the hard way, unfortunately. And there's only so much you can do. And when you learn that, obviously we're not going to force them to touch the stove and burn themselves. But at the same time, we've warned them and warned them and warned them. So when it does happen, we're going to be like, okay, I'm sorry that you're hurting. Really, I am. But you knew you shouldn't do that. I told you this is going to happen, right? And it's about understanding that that was their lesson to learn, right? And the more we intervene in those lessons, we actually become enablers and allow them to keep screwing up, and then it just makes their stuff harder. So it's our business to keep our own lane clean, do our very best we can, and love ourselves, and then treat everyone else with the same kindness that we would want to treat ourselves. But not allowing it to run us. It's not our business to worry about everybody else's lives. We can be kind, we can be helpful, we can do all of the things, but it's not our burden to carry to do everybody else's things. Once we help from ourselves with overflow, right? Our cup is always full, so we're not running in lack. And learning that first is like the hardest thing you can ever do, especially if you're a giver. So the point what I'm really trying to make is once we learn all of these triggers, all of these traumas, and how to understand them, because things are always going to happen. There's things that are so far back down that you're not even going to know until the trigger hits. But it's learning that in those moments, we know how to alchemize it, we know how to pause, we know how to process it. So we're going to do what we need to do, and we're going to do it from a space of clarity. It's not going to be retaliation. It's not going to be anger. It's not going to be any of those things. You are allowed to be angry, but you're not going to step out, I'm going to hurt you or do something wrong to you because I'm angry at you. No, I'm angry at the situation, and I understand that you probably don't know all of the situation, so I'm not going to come at you with punishment. I'm going to give you compassion, but that doesn't mean that I still don't have the right to be upset, and then I'm going to do what I can to try to fix the situation for everybody's best good. If I cannot, then it's not my circus, not my monkeys, and I leave it to God. Sorry, you know this, you know how to deal with it. I spoke my piece, and they either work with it or we walk away. That's clarity. That's learned boundaries. That's learned worth, okay? Because people don't seem to understand that inherently we're all worthy. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, every single day, every single night, you're worthy. Just for showing up, just for breathing, just for trying to do something every single day. Okay, when you show up every day and you do a little bit better, you start believing your worth, because everyone else has been deciding for I don't know how long now what our worth is, right? Through media, through movies, through magazines, through sales, all of it. If we don't fit your description or fit this, then we're not worthy. We're not this, and that's not true. Okay, everybody is worthy. I don't care if you're a bum on the street or the king of England. It doesn't matter. Everybody's worthy, and everybody has a story to tell. And when we can understand that and sort through that and treat ourselves like the kings and queens that we actually are, we inherently treat everybody else better, right? We inherently think better. We think above the grind, right? We think above survival, and we get to a space of calm and clarity. That's the integration and the harvest, right? So everything you survived, it turned into wisdom. everything you learned turned into discernment. You could decide, okay, is that person mistreating me because they're having a bad day? Are they intentionally trying to come at me? You can understand very quickly, oh no, they're probably just having a bad day. Or no, they're probably not somebody I should be around, so I'm going to cross the street and just move on. I'm not going to engage, because if I engage, it's just going to get worse, right? You understand exactly how to deal with that because you can process it quickly because you've already learned these other things and you know exactly where you need to be, right? And that's what I'm trying to teach. I need this tool. Got it. Got it. Got it. Use that tool, right? So everything you released made room for who you're becoming, who you are understanding, and all of the great things that are coming to you. This is a season of receiving that you were once too burdened to hold, because we were holding on to those programming, all that negativity, all of those things. When you hold on to that, there's no room. Why are we carrying some shit that we don't need to? We don't need to carry programming from 6 years old. We don't need to carry some negative belief of ourselves. We don't need to carry what that neighbor across the street thinks of us, because what does it matter? It's not our business what people think of us. What our business is, what do we think of us? When we look in the mirror at ourselves, can we show up and say, I showed up today, I did my very best I could. Doesn't matter if I didn't do everything perfectly. Did I show up and I do everything I could? Okay, something I didn't do perfectly, is there a way that I could do it a little bit better next time? Yes. Okay, how is that? Okay, so let's make a special note and try to do that tomorrow. That's you being your best self every single day. And when you show up just like that, you're winning. There's no competition. Okay, you don't compete with the neighbor. Hopefully you don't. You don't compete with anybody, right? The only one I want to see you competing with is yourself. Did I do my very best today? Am I trying to learn something new? Am I trying to be better? That's it. That's literally all this world is. Earth School is Earth School for a reason. There's lesson upon lesson upon lesson. But when we understand that every single day this is school, this is how we show up, and this is how we have to treat ourselves and other people. But when we put ourselves first, that's when our connection to God, our connection to our angels, our connection to our ancestors, we're all out there. They're all out there in time and space, and they all have lessons. And I don't care if they're good, bad, or ugly, okay? They're there. They're at your back. They may be bad. They may have been bad 500 years ago. It doesn't matter. They're like, man, we screwed that up. You don't think they're sitting back there going, man, we did not do that right. Holy shit, we screwed that up. Man, if we can teach this person can fix it. This person can do better and get rid of that nasty, nasty curse that's on our lineage because of something stupid I did. Do you think that's not what's happening? They don't want to see that. They didn't do it. People do stupid things all the time. And unfortunately, how it died and how it happened and how it trained into our families, that creates generational curses. So when we understand that, and we can get to that space where it's like, okay, really, our ancestors seeing us trying to do the right thing, you think they're not going to have your back? Welcome, Moon Bunny. They're going to show up and be like, man, they're going to fix that. They're going to get rid of that, and they can do that. Okay, they've already passed on. Once they pass on, they already know. They know all of the things that they screwed up. They know where they could have did better. So what are they going to do? They're not going to do anything until they see somebody showing up, making a change. Oh, I screwed it up. Yep. But this one's making a change. This one's showing up and doing that extra. So we're going to have her back. We're going to have his back. We're going to show up and we're going to be like, oh, here, a little nudge this way. Oh, look up here. There's an opportunity. What are you learning from that opportunity? Oh, my God, you're learning it and you're going to feel it. They're going to celebrate you, and it's going to come as like a little butterfly landing on your body. It's going to come as this beautiful baby just smiling and waving at you. It's saying you're doing the right thing. They're little messages. They don't have to be huge. Sometimes they're huge. Sometimes you get a big win for something, or sometimes you get a promotion at your job. But there's always going to be something telling you, I'm on the right path, I'm doing the right thing, and no matter what happens, as long as I'm doing it in that integrity and in that compassion for myself and others, I'm always going to be supported. My angels are going to be at my back. God is right at my back. My spirit team's at my back. My ancestors have my back. And I promise you, I'm living proof. You can go through my old videos. You can go through any of the things, and you can see from here to here. And when I tell you I've been knocked down 500,000 times, lost everything, had to start over and over and over and over, the stories I could tell would just make your head explode. I don't do that because I'm not about trauma dumping, and we're not here to literally traumatize somebody else or get pity. What we're doing is understanding that they were all lessons and they all were there, and every single one of them were there to teach us something. Okay. And in my case, a lot of them were self-love, right? Because coming from very abusive family places growing up, we don't know that boundaries are okay. We don't know that self-love is, in fact, self-love is selfish and it's horrible and it makes you a horrible person. That's what they teach you. So having to retrain your brain, you can't do that until you know better, right? I didn't know better. I didn't even know it was a thing until I was 40, right? Welcome, Matthew and Sam. So it doesn't matter when you start. What really truly matters is understanding that once you know better, then the choice to do better, it becomes up to you, right? You know that there's a better way. Are you going to stay doing the crappy way that's not leading you anywhere, or are you going to try this way? And yeah, it might be hard. It might be a little bit harder. It might, take a little more energy. It might take a little more sitting with all of the good, the bad, the ugly. But when you get to this full circle moment and you integrate all of those things, when you step out, you know you're stepping out in your winning season. Okay, and everything that I've been doing, literally my business I just started, my online business with my teas and all the things that I make, my guided journals, my YouTube with all my videos here, our Christmas tree I just showed at the beginning of this that we just made. But all of the things that we have, these are all lessons, and they all moved into something greater, something better. But it doesn't happen until you start to integrate it. So all of these things, it's literally transmutation at its purest form, and it's asking questions, asking yourself questions without judgment. And it doesn't matter if your answer that you come up with, if your answer is because right now I hate that person. Okay, well why do we hate that person? Like, it's not. You can't be mad at yourself for what that response immediately is. Okay, it's about questioning why. Why did that response come up? Okay, what did that person do? Did that person do something to me? No. So how can you hate somebody, right? And it's literally you're just questioning yourself. And when you understand it, you're like, well, yeah, maybe that wasn't my thought because I don't actually feel that way. It's just checking in, right? You're not judging yourself. Hey, you're so stupid for doing that. No. It's why did I think that? Because that seems a little not like me to think something like that. So why would I do that, right? And so when you're asking those questions, you're just peeling back the layers so you understand. Well, if that's not my thought, well, maybe I'm picking up something else because that's definitely not my thought. So I'm not holding on to that, right? Whereas before, if you had a thought like that or something negative come into your brain, you're gonna be like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? That's something hard. Why would I think something like that? And you're just beating yourself up and shrinking yourself down, and you're not understanding, right? That thoughts happen all the time. That's the programming. Those thoughts that come in that are negative, it's almost always going to be the programming that we've been through media, through school, through all of the culture, all of those things. So religious beliefs, religious families, and there's nothing, I'm not saying any judgment about religion, but at the same time, spirituality is meant to unite, and religion, unfortunately, segregates, right? It shouldn't. I don't believe that it should, because at the end of the day, the goal is the same thing. It's supposed to be about fellowship and working together and trusting each other, and praying to God and doing good in our communities, treating others as we want to be treated. It's such a simple thing. And when we actually take it out and we back it out to that level, where would I want to be treated that way? No. So why would I do it to someone else, right? It's literally just asking those simple questions that will change your life. It will change how you behave. It will change how you see yourself. It will change how you see other people. And then when you integrate that and you move forward, it's beautiful, because you're walking forward in love and in compassion, in expectation and excitement, right? Because you already know that no matter what happens, you're going to overcome it. You're going to learn the greatest lesson ever. And it's a new start. Every single day is a brand new start. It's a chance to do anything that you want to do. As long as you trust yourself and believe the universe is going to support you, which if you're doing all the things, it's guaranteed to support you. It's going to happen. All the things will go in your favor. You may have to advocate for yourself here and there. Stand up and say, well, no, that's not okay. And that's because you're being tested. Your commitment's being tested. But when you show up and you go through it and you go, wait a minute, I'm not angry. I understand exactly what's going on. Okay, first for a second I got the fear because something here felt like it was shaking my foundation. So I immediately went to fear. Okay, so why am I scared? I've done all the things. Okay, all I have to do is advocate for myself, stand up, put up the evidence, do this, because there's some processes, and unfortunately on Earth we still have to do much more things, right, in society. But there's only so many, and we don't have to be enwrapped in all of them. When we understand, okay, I don't have to worry about this because I automatically walk with integrity, so I'm not going to rob a bank, I'm not going to do these things. So those rules don't even apply to me. It doesn't matter. As long as I'm doing things with integrity, I don't even have to worry about those rules. It's just I would never work myself in any of those ways, shape, or form. So why would I have to worry about them, right? So let that go. It's not our problem, right? Now, if someone crosses your line, then you have to stand up and be accountable. You do all the things. Okay, I've done my work to advocate for myself. Now the rest is up to you, universe. I don't wish no hate, no harm, any of that. But I stood up for myself, and I'm saying that this is my line, and you cannot cross it. When we get to that space, that's when we're really allowed to step forward in faith, truly in faith, for ourselves and for God and for the universe. Welcome, Braden. So, sorry. So this is the season of receiving that you were once too burdened to hold. A gentle action step, reconnecting with the new you, and ask yourself with intention. These are the questions. And now, we talk about journaling, but I'm going to go over it every single time because I need to be very, very clear. For me, myself, I'm a person that needs to speak it, okay? Words are spells, so be careful. But also, when you're speaking to process something, it's not going to be held onto you. So we're always going to be speaking greatness into the world. But also, when you have to process and understand something, sometimes writing it down, trying to write it down in time gets lost in all of the stuff trying to get it. You're worried about writing it right, worried about this, worried about that, and then you miss all of the actual things that were going on in your brain. So what I suggest always, this is just if that's a struggle and if you find it hinders you, get voice record on your Google app or whatever. Get a document, open it up, and just record yourself. Speak what it is, ask your questions, ask your responses, and don't stop yourself. Don't think about it. Let it flow. Let it come. Automatic answer, just spit it out, okay? And then when you have the time, remember, you've expelled it. You've said what you're feeling, what you're thinking in the moment. And it doesn't mean that it's all true, what you're thinking or feeling. What it means is there's the programming in there. There's all of these other things. So now you have the ability to sort. Wait a minute. Is that what I actually think? Or is that negative program that's still trying to hitch a ride and we're not having it, right? So when you go back when you read it, right, you get to read through and you get to process all that as you're writing out what you spoke into your Google. Now you write it and it's like, oh, but that one makes sense. So you're actually getting the ability to process it, understand it, get curious, and then you can dive deeper into each section at your own pace. So there's no judgment. But that initial moment, if writing is a struggle for you or something that causes some kind of anxiety, get out of the writing part of it and worry about getting it down. Spit it out, get it on your voice record, and then go over and process it when you have the time, when you have the energy, and when you're prepared to intentionally sit with it and understand it. That is true growth. That is the utmost amount of growth that you could ever do because you're understanding the process. And when you understand the process and you do what works for you, not what someone told you have to pay $1,000 for, or not what someone else told you need to commit months and months and months to. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do any of those things. What I'm saying is, in the immediate, learning how to do these are going to set you up for your next step. So if your next step is learning Reiki, and I love energy healing, I love all of those things, but I need you to understand, until you're ready for the next step, it's going to hinder you. And then you're going to be like, oh, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that. When you can do literally anything you put your mind to, as long as you take that moment and process and get to that space, right? And these questions, these simple things are what's going to take you from, I can't, oh my God, I don't deserve any of this, I don't deserve this, to, I show up every single day for myself, I've overcome every single hardship, every single thing that's come at me, even if I had to belly crawl out of it, I overcame it. So you know what? I do deserve this, and I do deserve to learn that, and I do deserve to do this, and I'm going to do that for myself. This whole process, that's your next step. And that's when you understand that everything I learn and everything I move forward to do for myself, I deserved it since day one. But now I know, I believe in my soul I deserve it. So I'm going to continue, and I'm not going to stop. Welcome, Michelle. So these are some questions to ask yourself. Again, voice record, journal, whatever works for you. Even just sitting with it. You don't even have to write it down all the time. Sometimes writing feels like a chore. Don't do it. Just talk to yourself. Just ask yourself the question and wait for the answer. And that first flash of the answer is going to be the one that you need to look at. You need to understand, because that's going to be that programming, or it's going to be the true, honest answer. And you'll know immediately, because if it's negative or something, you know that's programming. That's got to go. If it's realistic, if it's accountable, and if it's empowering, then it is your soul's answer. And it's really easy to see. It's really easy to understand when your angels and when God is speaking to you, when the universe is showing you, because they're trying to guide you with love. The only time it gets harder and harder is when we keep doing the wrong choice. When we keep picking bad choices, we get farther and farther out of balance. Those nudges get a little bit harder till you're getting smacked the hell down. And that's the universe trying to teach you, right? Welcome, John Wallace. Thank you for that. Someone else came in. I missed it. I'm sorry. I think it said empty. Welcome. So these are some questions just to check in with yourself. That's so sweet. I appreciate you. I hope you're doing well. What part of me has finally come home? What is it that I feel in myself that I've checked in, that I understand, that I've gotten to know? Good, the bad, the ugly. We don't mess around anymore, okay? We're understanding that we are here. I'm fantastic. Just here, this is the end of the Fire and Flow content series. The next one will be the Grace and the Grind. Thank you for the gifts. That's sweet. The next one will be the Grace and the Grind. So that's where we're into December. All the rushing around and expectations of family and Christmas. We're going to learn that we don't have to do that. Right now, we've already learned transmutation and alchemy in its purest, simplest form. We're breaking it down in bite-sized steps. So now we're at the end. This is the last one, and this is where we're understanding all of the things that we learned, and we're integrating it into such a wonderful space that empowers us to be our best self. So, what truth do I carry now that I didn't before? Okay, and sometimes it may be simple, like that limiting belief was not something that I needed. So I'm letting that go, and I'm understanding that I can truly do anything I want. It will take action, it will take commitment, and it's going to take work. But every time I show up for myself, I already know I've already overcome these things. So if I took that energy that I put in everywhere else and I committed it to myself, how could I lose, right? It's just the simplest things. It could be just the smallest thing, but that truth that you're going to carry is going to be your booster in your next season, I promise. How can I live from this embodied clarity today, right? All these questions, all of these answers that I now know, not only do I know them, I feel them to the bottom of my soul, and I know that when I step forward, I'm not doing anything out of malice, I'm not doing anything out of anger, out of fear. I'm doing it out of clarity, out of understanding, and that's my highest, best good. It doesn't matter where my next step is going to be, because no matter what it is, my intention is good, and the universe has my back, period. And when you step out like that, you know you're winning. I'm already in my winning season. I'm here. We're just waiting for the rest of the world to catch up, period. And that's like knowing that, how it's like a hug. It's like every day you wake up with a hug from the universe saying, you got this, let's do it. Right? How could you not say thank you? So, this grounds the lessons into real life, right? This is how we integrate them. And these questions are really important, because when we can understand that, we really speak that truth. Not only to the universe, we're speaking power, we're speaking life into everything that we encounter, but we're speaking it into ourselves first and foremost. So we're filling our cup first, and then everything we help and everyone we encounter and all of those wonderful meetings come from overflow, right? It's literally the overflow. And when we get to that space, we're never lacking. We don't feel that resentment, because we're giving what we're able to give. And it doesn't matter what it is, time, energy, compassion. It doesn't matter. Whatever the situation is, we're giving from an overflowing cup. And when you feel that cup overflowing, you know, and you're happy to give. I show up and do these because I love to do it, because I learned, and I'm actively still learning these as I go through them. Like the Grace and the Grind content that's coming up in December. When I tell you, and even this one, this whole thing, when I tell you, I had to learn it, and sometimes even when I was speaking it, I was like, it was like the universe was testing me. Like, you're going to talk about this? Okay, well, we're going to make sure you're learning your own lessons. We're going to make sure that you're doing the work, right? So there, trust me, there had been some things that came up in the last couple of weeks. It was a little hectic. And it was immediately. It could have went to rage. It could have went to stupid. It could have went to spiraling. It could have went to all kinds of craziness. But no, I immediately went, whoa, wait a minute. What's going on here? That makes no sense. And it doesn't matter, because I already know that I have this, and I can bring that together, and then that's how I'm going to advocate for myself. So, but before, right, if this was 6 months ago, a year ago, I would have been like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I would have crumbled. I would have just thought the whole world was going to collapse. It was the universe literally showing me, not only is your testimony true, it's actively, you put it into use all the time. In these small moments, in the big moments, it doesn't matter what happens. You take everything that you've learned and you process it. And what I'm trying to do when I teach this is so that you have those tools. And it doesn't matter where you step out, what you decide to learn, what you want to master in your life, you're going to do it because you have these basic tools and the understanding of how and when to use them. And then moving forward, you're obviously going to master everything you do, because that whole process is how you transmute things, how you alchemize it, how you understand it, and then how you understand yourself through the process. You give yourself grace, you give yourself understanding, you have your moment. If you got to cry, if you got to be angry, you say, I don't hate myself, I love myself, and I have every right to be angry. But am I going to force that out into the world, or am I going to feel that anger and understand that fear of what it is? Because anger is just a reaction to fear, right? Once we understand that, immediately, okay, anger, okay, what's the fear here? What's going on? You know exactly how to get there, and you know how to process it. Amen. Facts. 1000% facts. All right, so then we have some more journaling prompts. What version of me am I ready to honor, thank, and release? Right? That old version of you, the one that would have spiraled, the one that would have worried and freaked out and went into survival mode and did all of the things. Well, I'm going to thank them, because no matter what, if it wasn't for them, I would have never got here. I would have never learned those lessons. So I'm going to say thank you, and I love you, and I appreciate you for being there for all of my life up to this point, but I cannot carry you any farther, and I'm not going to take that with me. I want to take the best parts of you, and we're going to move forward as diligently and as strong, as intentionally as we can, right? So you're going to thank that person. You're going to thank that old person. You're going to let them go, and you're going to carry only the good stuff. And now your load is a lot lighter, and you have room for all the good that you're going to collect along the way, right? It's always about moving forward. I don't care if you got a belly crawl, okay? And trust me, I've had to. You keep moving forward, and you learn your lessons all the way. You're never going to lose. And then, what part of my healing cycle feels complete, right? What do I feel? What do I understand so much to the very base of my soul that my clarity is unshakable, right? And it took a little moment, because even I didn't quite understand it. But when you get to that moment of clarity, like, I know my intentions. I know no matter what, at the end of the day, I'm never going to step out and attack somebody in some kind of negative shape or retaliation or anger. That's not who I am. I know when I give to people, when I help, if I go help you, wherever you are, if you have a blown tire and I can help you, I stop because I want to stop, not because I want some kind of thank from you. I know it's going to come back to me 1,000-fold. I'm never worried. But there used to be a time back in the day when those kindnesses would be turned against me and tainted into something negative. Oh, you just wanted this. You just wanted. No, I didn't. I didn't even think of that. I was just, you said you needed it, so I was trying to help, right? Then you have to explain yourself, and that became a whole thing. That became a trauma that actually hindered me and stopped me from doing those things because I was afraid of just being attacked for trying to do something kind. But once you understand your soul on a soul level and understand your true character, your true north, nobody can shake that. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you want to tell the neighbor's friends, boyfriend's grandma about me. It doesn't matter. Because I know what I know what I know. And I know the universe has me. And I know that if you continue to think that way, the universe is going to show you. You're going to see through my actions every single day. I don't have to prove myself because I am myself. And whether you like it or not, this is who I am. That's a clarity. That's something that you know because you've been through the fire. How many times have you walked through it? How many times have you came out? How many times have you overcome it and still chose to be kind? That means you're meant to be here. That means that you're meant to master some things. So when you can understand what they are, that clarity, that's gold. That's priceless, truly. We have just to be, and we don't need to change. Yeah, we change for ourselves, right? And in turn, we're changing for other people, but it's not an obligation. We're changing, and our change is going to help other people. It's going to empower them. It's going to teach them because we become leaders, right? When we're leaders in our own lives, we lead other people, right? By example, not by saying you follow me. Okay, we're just living our lives, doing our things, but we believe in accountability. We believe in intention. We believe in honesty and compassion and kindness. So when you just do it, God sends the people that need to see you to you. They're going to send them to you and say, hey, this is an example. And I used to be like, well, nobody sees what I do. Who cares, right? It's not a big deal. But there are always people that see, okay? And it doesn't matter if it's one person or 1,000. If you help one person, that ripple is 1,000-fold because that person is going to help somebody else and somebody else and somebody else. We can never count. We can never put a number on the amount of people we help by just being ourselves and learning and understanding the good, the bad, the ugly. It's there for a reason. And when we learn how to process it, peel back the layers and understand it, we are the testimony. Every single day, we are the testimony. Okay. And then we have, what am I ready to receive now that I couldn't before? Some of us close our hearts off. Some of us have this trauma and we don't want to get hurt again. Amen. Amen. Some of us have this trauma. We don't want to get hurt again. We're afraid of what somebody else is going to say. It's that judgment, right? So we're afraid to receive. Or if somebody, to give some examples, okay, when receiving a gift or something as a younger child, there would be an expectation with it, or there would be a punishment that came after. And it's sad that that is the truth, but it is. But that's a program that goes into your brain. So you have to process that, and you have to understand that and say, no, that's not, if I'm ready to receive, I'm receiving. It doesn't matter where it's coming from, what's happening. If God's meant for it to come to you, it's going to come to you one way or the other, okay? And then, so understanding that and trusting that if somebody's giving to you, they're giving from their heart. They're not giving because they expect something for you, or they owe you or they want you to owe them something. They're giving, right? Because that's how you give. And learning to receive is really, truly something that you need. You need to learn to receive information, to receive knowledge, to receive gifts. The same gifts that you deserve, that you give out, you deserve them tenfold. Like everybody does, inherently. And learning to understand that and accept that and be gracious to yourself and to others is just as important as giving. That's reciprocity is so important, and it doesn't mean that person that you helped is going to pay you back. No, it means that you helped that person and you paid it forward, and then that person's going to help somebody else. You know that kindness that you did is coming back no matter what, tenfold. That person knows that. So when somebody gives you a kindness, absolutely, what are you going to do? You're going to say, thank you so much, I appreciate you, and you're going to stand forward in that same kindness, and you're going to always pay it forward because that's who you are, right? And then this is how does this new clarity change how I move forward, right? And I've already kind of hit these, but these are questions to ask yourself. I'm always going to talk about them, and I talk about them so frequently and so freely. Yes, it already is making it a better place. The only difference is we see the media that goes crazy on all this negative stuff because there's enough shit going on in the world. Okay, there's never gonna hear me be like, oh, it's sunshine and rainbows, but we have the opportunity to make those changes. Oh, hold on, the puzzle piece. We have the opportunity to make those changes, right? And we can't. It's not about seeing like, okay, if I can't help your country right now, if I can't go there and help or send something that's going to help, we're going to pray for them. We're going to pray for the peace. We're going to pray for all the things. But we have to understand, and we can have that, hold that space and that compassion. But we can't let it hinder us or that guilt take us out. Because when we're accountable for our own life and our own space and doing those things and helping our own neighbors and helping our own people that are around us that really desperately need it, we're in turn spreading that out, because that person that you help could be that person that's idea changes the world and you save their life. Okay, you don't know. All you know is that being kind and being accountable for our area first, for the people and places and the things that we encounter, that expands out exponentially always. It's just amazing. You can't even comprehend how far that your wins go. Okay, the smallest to the greatest. People, it's so hard to even sometimes explain, because I know I traveled a lot as a younger person. Like when I was really young, I traveled for many years, and in those travelings, I met so many people, and it could have been the smallest kindness that almost broke my heart when the lady told me what that meant to her, and I didn't find out about it 5 years later. You know, like. But somebody remembers that from 5 years ago and so far away, and the fact that you would even run into that person again, like those things are just, that's God. That's God saying you matter. Like, you need to understand these small things, they make big, big change. So we need to do it here first. And when you get to this point, you're already there. Now you're integrating it and you're moving forward with that clarity and that absolutely astounding compassion for yourself and everybody. We all have the opportunity. We all have. There's somebody in this world you've made an impact on. At least one. At least one. There's somebody, every person, good, bad, or ugly, have made a great impact on. Okay? Even the worst of the worst people, and I'm saying that in quotations, okay? The worst of the worst people have made great impact on people. They've done something for somebody good. Okay? And sometimes the bad outweighs the good, but doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum, we have to learn our lessons, right? And until we learn them, we're going to keep going through the fire and keep going through the fire. And that's what we need to understand. And when we understand someone else is going through the fire, we got to let it go, right? We have to say, okay, it's not our business. We're not going to judge. We're not going to hurt. We're not going to hinder. We're going to step back and say, okay, we don't align right now. I wish you the best. Good for you, you know, and really, truly hope for the best. But you have to release it. It's not yours to carry, right? So you've completed a cycle. It's not the end. It's the beginning, but from a higher truth. You came for full circle, but you're not the same person who started. You're the version who made it through. And when you can understand that, that's your full circle moment. And stepping out of that, from that space, is the most empowering thing you're ever going to feel. The way you advocate for yourself is different. The way you advocate for others. The way you show up for yourself. The way you look at yourself in the mirror. When I tell you your whole perspective changes. It's immense. It's unbelievable the amount of change that can be created when we start questioning ourselves with curiosity, not with judgment. Not with judgment at all. Just understanding why. Just like a kid. You know how they say we heal our inner child? Welcome back, Michelle. How they say we heal our inner child, and it's the most important thing we can do. What does a kid do? Right? What do they do? Why? 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 When we learn to connect with our inner child and we treat these things, these anger issues, these traumas, these struggles, all of these things like a child, what are they going to do? They're going to ask you why until your brain hurts trying to answer them, right? But if you did that, if you get rid of that, like, negative connotation of that and understand that the why, they're asking to understand. And when we ask to understand just like a child, we're going to get the child's answer. And it's going to bring us back to the most pure part of us, the absolute core that allows us to walk forward in faith. When we were kids, we could have fly. We were going to be astronauts. We were going to do anything we wanted. We were going to fly on dragons. There was not one thing in our brain that thought that we couldn't do it. And it didn't matter. We were going to try it. We fell down. We got back up. We didn't get mad at ourselves. We might have got frustrated for a minute, but we're like, hey, let's do it again. You know, we'll get this. We'll figure it out. Never once did we stop ourselves. Never once did we say, oh my God, I don't want to do that anymore. I fell and it's horrible and I don't want to. No, we're going to get up and do it again. So if we can get back to that inner child and understand that that child is needing us to be the adult that they never had. And when we do that, it's simple. It's just so simple. Just saying, hey, I see you in there. I'm going to be the adult. I'm showing up. I'm going to be that adult you needed. So I need you to help me. And the kid's going to say, what do you need? Okay, that's you literally talking to your inner child. What do you need? I need answers. Okay, so they're going to start saying, why? Every time that why comes into your brain, that's your inner child helping you transmute all of these things that you don't understand or that you've been trying to block out because of shame or guilt. It's not yours to carry, especially if something was when you were a kid. Okay, something that happened when you were a kid is never going to be yours to carry because you were the child. You were innocent. And learning that and accepting that is soul crushing as it feels. It's that soul crushing. That's where it cracks your heart open. Which if you go to the other one, the kindness that cracks you open, when you understand that, oh, that's my dehydrator. I always have my dehydrators going because I make my teas. They're all handmade and fresh fruit, and they're beautiful. My gratitude tea is the one that actually saved my life. The nervous system, learning how to take my dysregulated nervous system and calm and find the ritual of peace. They all come with a little ritual just to be present and be thankful. You can find them on my website at Creatively Guided, creativelyguided.ca. It's I built it. I put a lot of intention into it. I created the Healing Hub. It just went up last week, and lots of good stuff there. All of the content for this, the links are there, so you can do that. You can see them. Can I have a self-care card on the message? All right. We got, I like this place and could willingly waste my time in it. And that's by William Shakespeare. You are not your schedule. Give thanks for the being that lives in you, beneath the trappings of your life. You are alive, and this is a gift. And when you wake up every day, and that is the first thing you're thinking, how can you go through this life and be angry or upset? It's almost impossible. Every breath, everything is a chance. Every time you're frustrated or upset, look out the window. Look at the trees moving in the wind. Look at them standing so tall. They're not blowing over because no matter how the wind blows, no matter what storm comes, they move, they rebound, they blow this way or that. Okay, they don't crash and burn. They find the flow. They go with the ebb and flow, and that's how they learn. That's exactly what we need to do. The universe is showing us every single day how we need to live life and how we need to show up for ourselves. And when we do that, we learn that it's so easy, and we actually can become so much more childlike and so much more understanding and so much more grateful because we're looking at there. Like, I used to, for instance, winter was like, oh, I hate winter. It's so horrible. No, I'm still not the best person in the whole world for it, but I was looking this morning and a little snow, and last night when it was snowing, I was like, it's so beautiful. And I went outside and we sat out there for a little bit. It's like my whole perspective changed. It's not such a negative connotation anymore. Yes, it can be harsh, and yes, it can be this. But if you change your perspective, it can also be very cleansing. It can be beautiful. It can be this peaceful calm that just lets you know you're safe. There's so many good things to it, too. And when you get out of the negative perspective, you can just see things so much more different, right? All right, can I have a gratitude? These are my favorite ones just because I live my life in gratitude every single day. And if you knew the whole backstory of my life, I promise you I have 1,000 reasons, a million reasons why I should be living in gratitude. And I don't force anybody to live how you want, always live how you want. But at the end of the day, I'm never going to stop preaching what I believe and sharing anything that's going to help somebody come back to themselves and understand that you are worthy just for showing up, just for breathing every single day. Welcome, Layla. Amen. Amen. Consciously celebrating the blessings of life is part of an integrated spiritual practice. It is a form of bowing to the mystery. Make a list of 5 blessings in your life. Add to it once a week, and each month, take a few minutes to reflect on all the blessings you have. And if you write that at the end of the month, so I literally have a gratitude a dry erase board that I made, and I actually sell them on my website. Let me get it. Hold on. It's the simplest, I promise you, it's the simplest thing, but it's a 7-day thing. So you flip it over and it hangs just in the center, right? But each day, okay, I am abundant, I'm joyful, I'm whatever, and then I am grateful for. What are we grateful for? So at the end of each week, you have an entire collection of things that you're grateful for, things that I am affirmations, which are just amazing. You're speaking it into the universe, and we never want to stop doing that. Speak your greatness, speak everybody's greatness. It's simple. It's just a simple little thing, but if you start collecting them by the end of the week, you're like, holy crap, I'm powerful. Holy crap, I really am amazing. You know, I really have this much to be grateful for. And there's more. I know I could list 10 more. I know I could list 20 more. And it's never going to stop, right? And then the universe is going to do what? It's going to keep sending you more and more and more of it, right? And you're never going to stop believing that you're powerful, because the universe won't let you stop believing it, even in crisis. It's going to be like, look, you mastered this, you did that, you're a queen, you're a king, you already got this. And that's literally how you go and take on anything. You tackle it just the same way. I'm a queen, I got this, I know no matter what happens, even if I make a mistake, even if I don't do it right, I know I'm going to learn and I'm going to do better next time. So I'm not going to fail. Amen. That's manifesting. We're speaking, everyone's like, spell work this, spell work that, all this crazy negative stuff. No, it's only negative if you choose it to be negative. Do you want to speak your greatness, or do you want to speak doom and destruction into the universe? It's your choice, right? I choose to speak greatness onto myself and onto anyone I encounter. I choose to speak it onto the universe. I catch myself, oh, the traffic's horrible, and I'm like, who cares? You get to drive in it. It's a absolute, that's not a necessity, right? That is a gift. That's something that you don't so desperately need. That's something that you actually get to have and get to receive. And that's an opportunity. And learning how to understand. And you get to make it there safe every single day. Every day I go get my daughter. Every day I come home. Thank you for safe travels. Thank you for safe passage. Thank you for allowing me to have this day and this peace. And now I spend time with my daughter. When I tell you I'm thankful every day, it's something that I believe in to the end of the world. So we have confidence is key, right? So know and feel this affirmation beyond a doubt. I am all that I need. I am all that I need to get what I want. When I show up for me, and I show up with intentionality, with integrity, with heart and head coherence, right? Then I know that I'm cooperating with the universe, right? We work together, and that's how we get stuff done. Your goal can benefit from you surrounding yourself with like-minded people, right? There's always, when you start showing up for yourself and you start showing up and telling the universe, okay, I'm ready. I've released this crap. I'm ready for the goodness to come into my life, the good people, the good places, the good things. That's when the cooperation comes. Your star family, your soul tribe, the people that actually care, right? That's it. That's all you need. And then perfectionism. Be content to know perfection is a distant utopian goal which we journey but never arrive. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up. It's about understanding the good, the bad, the ugly, and celebrating all of them. Because you know your biggest transformation, your most amazing transformations, your most foundational transformations are going to be from the ugliness. It's going to be from the bad, from the negative things. Okay, that's where we learn. And when we learn and when we grow, that's transformation. That's being the magician of your own life. That's saying, I choose to take this negativity and learn and understand what it is and understand myself to the core. Because when I understand myself to the core, it doesn't matter who you are, what you believe, any of those things. You cannot shake me. Oh, thank you. That's sweet. And it's important. Once we understand that, to a core, nobody can shake us. We know what it is. It doesn't mean we're not always going to learn. It doesn't mean our minds won't change. It doesn't mean, but it means that our core, our absolute integrity, the very baseline is our true north. And we know at the end of the day, that foundation is unshakable. All right, can I have a starseed oracle for this message today to talk about the full circle moment coming back to ourselves just when Earth. It's so funny with the cards, I can see them in my head. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Where are we at? Earth. Apparently I can't find the number. Earth. Okay, and also angel number 62 might have an extra message. I always give homework. Sorry, guys. You don't have to, but if you go look it up, there's usually a good message. So, learning how to be human in a world, but not of it. This is one of my favorite cards. The challenge for all souls having a human experience is to be in the world, but not of it. To realize they are souls having a human experience and be fully conscious of it. To have their soul fully embody their body. People's personalities tend to relate to either transcendence or immanence. Those who lean towards transcendence have a longing for the heavens and the metaphysical. They yearn for a personal experience with God and to be lost in the heavens. They're envious of the angels and are more comfortable praying and hanging out in the stars than on earth. Those who tend toward immanence have attached themselves more to earth and their body. They spend more time thinking about things in the physical world rather than connecting to the heavens, connecting with the heavens or their own mystical inner worlds. Being a fully embodied soul, having a human experience, means finding the balance between transcendence and immanence, being in the world but not of it. Most starseeds are drawn towards transcendence. They're more comfortable with the angels and the heavens. Life on earth can be more difficult for them. If this is you, you're being reminded that you chose to be a soul in a body on earth, and you're being called to focus more of your energies on the physical world, to learn how to be human, a soul in a human body, fully present to what life on earth has to offer you. What is this school trying to teach you? Do you tend to long for the stars or to be more in the physical? How can you find greater balance between the two? They're both necessary. They're both 1,000% necessary. But when we understand that when we get too out of balance, right, that's when the universe, it was just 11:11 on the clock as I look up. I love that. That's your new beginning. And that's what the full circle moment is. It's actually teaching you that this is your jump off point. This is your new beginning with more clarity, with more empowerment, with more grace. And truly, grace for yourself, grace for others. It's really a great space to be at. So, and learning that balance. We need both. We need to understand the metaphysical. We need to understand the universe. We need to understand God or angels. We need to understand our ancestors. They don't not exist. They obviously did exist at one point. Okay, we can't judge them. We can't say, oh, well, you screwed up. Okay, sure, they probably did. Maybe not all of them did. Maybe some of them did. But the ones that screwed up, they're watching you. And they're going, man, I don't want to see them do what I did. Even if they did the worst of the worst, do you think they're there now going, man, I just want to drag them all down to hell? No. Because once you die, you lose that fear. You lose all that. Once your body dies, I should say. You lose that fear. You just gain this understanding. Okay, yeah, I didn't have all the answers. But they have all the answers now. They're there. They can't do it. They're not on earth. But all they can do is guide us with the real answers, right? And when people say this whole spirit thing, and that's why the whole religion thing bugs me, and there's no judgment because I think that a lot of them have a lot of good, but at the end of the day, when we really get to it, ancestors are trying to teach us. And if they're coming through and if they're teaching us with the world of tarot, with the world of divination, any of them, if they're speaking through us, it's because we're at a critical point. We're at a point, and God's saying somebody's got to get through. Somebody's got to understand. Okay, and I do believe in God, absolutely. But I also understand enough to know every religion is different, every culture is different, but the core meanings are the same. And if we get out of all that and understand the core meanings, treat your neighbors as you would treat yourself, right? Like, it's just be a good human being. That's it. Don't be trying to hurt people. Don't reach out. Don't be thinking about negativity or retaliation and those things. You know, be accountable for what you're doing, and in turn, hold others accountable, right? Like, you're not going to let them keep coming at you, but you're not going to go attack them. You're going to say, nope, sorry, I don't want no part of that, and you're going to move along and go about your business. And that's how this world works. Welcome, Ren Ren. Okay, can I have a work your light on the message today? Something to help guide us, show us to speak on, for the full circle moment, how we come back to ourselves. We have the priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? Right? How is your body asking you to get curious and check in with yourself so you can lead and come from that highest, best place? And then we have Sisterhood of the Rose, beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, and teacher. Okay? We all have this in us. Okay? Every single one of us, male or female, doesn't matter. Okay? We all have this in us. We have a balance of our masculine and our feminine. And when we learn to find that inner guidance, that our soul calling, we're going to teach it out into the world. It's just naturally going to come, whether it's speaking like this or just leading by example. People are going to follow because they understand and they see the light and they see the truth, and they know that it doesn't matter where you come from or what your religion is. How are you going to say someone's a bad person because they're a different religion than you or they're a different culture than you? You can't. You know what that person's heart and soul is by the way they behave, by their actions, right? And if it doesn't align with you, you move on because they still have lessons to learn. It's not our job to hurt or hinder them. And we know that's where we've learned. We've come full circle. We have the discernment. We understand all of those things. Welcome, Anna. And then, but in having our discernment, we also have to get grounded, right? We're bringing that high priestess energy, all of that from the heavens, all of that we've been learning, checking in. We bring that down to earth and we ground it in and we use that in our everyday life. And that's what I'm trying to do here, is teach you how to transmute and take all that power and turn it into your absolute greatest steps, action steps that allow you to move forward and be your best self, and in turn show others exactly how you believe in yourself and how you truly are and how you show up. You're an example. You're a leader. Welcome, Kai. Someone else came in. I missed it. I'm sorry. Okay, let me have a Moonology, and then we'll do the Lemuria. I do that one last because it's usually long, and as long as I'm done before noon, I'm trying not to do this too long. Oh, that was a lot, Spirit. What do we got? All right, so I love this. So there's always a time for healing, and that's what we're talking about. And that was the whole part of the Fire and Flow. We're healing, but we're transmuting, and we're learning how to use those tools to focus on ourselves. Okay, and then when you believe in the impossible, doesn't matter. You show up, right? You believe in the impossible because what you learned and what you've put into action and what you show up every day should be impossible. You're a miracle, a walking damn miracle. Every single day you show up. Okay? Your hard work is paying off. And it's okay to believe in the miracle because you've been doing the healing. You're showing up. You're doing the healing. Okay? You believe in the impossible. Why? Because you already have done the impossible. You put in the hard work and it's paying off. And that's pretty friggin' amazing. That's something worth getting exciting about, I believe. Welcome, oh. Okay, I'm going to do the Beyond Lemuria, and then I'm going to do an angel number, because, of course, that's all I ever talk about is the angel numbers. Once you're open to that, and you're aligned, and you're ready, the teachers will come, the angel numbers will come, the guidance will come when you learn to listen. just get quiet and check in, and you'll know. You're gonna know they're there. You'll feel it every single step of the way, and that's empowering when you understand that the universe has your back, and they're gonna show you in as many ways as you need to be shown until you are empowered enough to step out and constantly keep stepping, right? And it took many years. It's not something you're gonna know in a day. But when you start feeling it and you trust and you understand that everything happens for a reason, and they're showing you and they're teaching you, and once you learn what those reasons are and understand how to find what those reasons are, you're doing the work every single day, which means when you step out, you're doing all the things you need to do. The universe has your back. Can I have one on our message today, please? Just one on the guidance. Talking about this full circle moment, how they can move forward to help them understand the process, whatever it is you want to tell. You gave me two, eh? Okay. Hopefully it's a chakra one. It is. Okay, all right. So we got Earth. I'm going to read them both. And then transformation, which is all this is talking about, and the transmutation. But Earth is the one of the chakra ones. 14. Alright, so nurture nature. Look at the artwork on this. I'm such a fan of this deck. I'll never stop bragging on it. The words and the beauty in the art itself. This is a whole, it's just amazing, truly. No one can hold us the way nature can. Mama Nature is a powerful healer and transmuter of dense energies we may be holding on to. Just as she takes in our breath and returns our bones to fertile soil, so too can she transform our woes if we can allow ourselves to surrender, to lie in her grassy arms or be embraced by her branches. Just as plastics and oils cannot be broken down in the earth for renewal, when our emotions become hardened and impenetrable, catalyzed into something more destructive, they cannot be transformed into the compost that we grow from. Experiences we may categorize as good or bad are a part of life. Death and rebirth are a part of the natural cycle that allows for the continuation of life. Creating something through suppression and control that will not break down will only bring us further out of harmony. Nature is all around us. Notice her and know that when you feel like no one else can hold you, she can. Spend as much time in nature as possible and do what you can to preserve it. And then, of course, this is for grounding and, what was the other one? Transformation. Also, angel number 53 would be a good one. This one's transformation. Like, look at the artwork. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Okay, this painting started with the name, I needed a hug, so I painted one. During the creation process, the image underwent a profound transformation that paralleled the journey I was taking deep within myself. This card signifies going inward and being truly present with wherever you are at in your process. It emits a sense of self-nurture and a space that is held as a container for our delicate and vulnerable gestation periods. The final image is filled with blessings like an angelic embrace. This care emanates from the being, implying that she is creating it for herself. The most powerful healing comes from a place of presence and acceptance for all that doesn't try and fix anything or push things away. And if that isn't confirmation for this part, the full circle moment, I don't know what is. And then the meaning of this card. Feel whatever you need to feel. It may be hard to be present with some parts of yourself. Bring them into a cocoon of gentle self-love and reflection, and insight will come. The shadows can be released, and your heart space will soften. Cry or be angry if this is what you're holding on to, and laugh at the hilarious, ironic, divine perfection of it all. This card beckons you beyond your constructed outer self, where you can delve into the beautiful abyss of your being. Revel in the twilight before the dawn, and let your wings unfurl. Welcome, Carol. This is the epitome, absolute epitome of what the full circle moment is. You have all of the tools literally right there within you, and it's just checking in. And when we become more self-aware and we understand how to get the answers, what to ask. We literally heal ourselves. We don't need $1,000 courses. And I'm not saying don't ever do them, okay, because there's a lot of great things to learn still. But we don't need them to get to a space where we can start empowering ourselves and we can show up for ourselves and we can teach others and lead by example. So it's checking in with ourselves, getting curious, just like a kid, asking why. Why did I feel that feeling? Why did I feel so upset? Why is this happening? Why am I angry over this? Why is this thought coming to my head? Why? It's like the most important question you can ever ask yourself, and it's not why with judgment. It's a why with just curiosity. Don't judge the answer. Get curious about the answer, because that's where all of your learning and that's where all of your golden moments are going to come from. And you got to understand, some of our highest and best transformation comes from the worst parts of us. The worst things we did, the most horrible, gross, shameful things that we think nobody should, that we have to hide from the world. We don't have to hide anything. When we hide it, we allow those shadows for things to sit and fester and build up. But when we crack our hearts open and literally understand it and sit with it, we create that space to release the negative and we hold on only the positive. We're accountable for ourselves and we move forward. And we have that love and compassion because we know our good, our bad, our ugly. And if we can have compassion for ourselves, how are we going to go treat somebody else badly? Because why would we want that done to us, right? And most people that truly have compassion don't ever want to do that to somebody because they wouldn't want it done to themselves, right? So knowing and learning and understand that and understanding where that thinking comes from, who it comes from, is it a program, is it a negative thought, is it a culture, is it a stereotype, is it something that has been programmed since a child? Okay, do I truly believe that? No. Okay, so let it go. That's not me. I'm not carrying that. Sorry, right? And when you get to that space, you're releasing so many things that you create that space of love and compassion. We got 2. All right, we got 111, intuition, insight, serenity, harmony, clarity, joy, momentum, self-awareness, and initiative. I can't read today, sorry. And unconditional love. Barbara, sincere, welcome. Now is the time to realize your long-held ideas. You're on the right path to turning your dreams into reality. The right people, circumstances, and resources are coming together to support you. Happiness and new opportunities are within reach. Trust the journey and have faith in the process. So when you start seeing this number all over the place, it's your intuition. Start listening to it. This is your new beginning, your journey. This is how you step forward and you guide yourself because you've went in deep, you've checked in, you've done all the things, you've asked the questions, and you got clarity about who you are, what you want, and what you stand for. And when you step forward, you're stepping forward in exactly that mindset. So your intuition is going to guide you, and of course you're going to trust yourself. Who else would you trust? You know you did the work. You know you checked in. You know you did that. Celebrate yourself and understand that everywhere you go and when you see that number, get present. What's going on around me? What was I thinking? What was this? Because that's going to lead you to your great idea. That's going to lead you to your best thing, to your empowerment, to what's going to bring you your abundance, right? Your joy. And then we got 0220. So when you start seeing these numbers around everywhere, just remember this message and what I'm telling you. Because I promise you, it's going to be a turning point in your life. It's going to be something that literally could change your life. And it's all about just seeing these numbers. That's your angels. That's your ancestors. That's your spirit team. That's them saying, hey, we got you. Pay attention. Wake up. We're here. 0220. Act on your idea. Practical goals, divine timing, ambition, collaboration, discipline, progress, opportunity, and growth. Good fortune is on your side, and with wise judgment, you can achieve your goals. Now is the perfect time to reach new heights. Recognize this pattern and act on your potential. Your plans are about to flourish. You're on the brink of a spectacular ascent. Embrace your opportunities ahead. Trust your intuition. You've done the work. This is your full circle moment. You did the work. You checked in. You started to use the tools. You learned how to transmute and alchemize that pain. Okay, that anger, the frustration, that ugly, the part of you that you don't want anyone to know. You learned how to sit with it and understand it. So now who else are you going to trust? You're going to trust yourself. And those ideas, when you see those things, when those things come to your brain, you're going to act on them. You're going to act on your idea. Why? Because you trust your intuition, because you've done the work. So when you act on your idea, you know you're going to win, because you're stepping out from a space of love, of joy, of compassion, of understanding, and of clarity. You know what your intentions are. You know how you're stepping out in it, and you know what you're doing to the best of your ability. And you know that even if you don't know all the steps, you're going to keep taking the steps, and the next step will appear. Your intuition is going to tell you, act on that idea. It's going to tell you to move forward that way, and you're going to take a step that way. And you also know if it leads you off your path, you're going to have a detour, and you're going to learn a lesson. And it could be a good lesson or a bad lesson or whatever, like in quotations, because they are just lessons. But you know you're going to learn whatever it is, and you're going to take that and you're going to move forward back on your path, because that's what it's going to do, nudge you back on your path. It's going to take you to exactly where you're destined to go. Your highest best self, your soul already exists. All of it exists. Your highest best self is there waiting. Hey, I'm waiting for you to come catch up. I'm here. And when we learn to trust and listen to our soul, truly understand what our soul is trying to tell us, we've passed all the filters and all that negativity and all the trauma and all the things. We have to heal that to understand. Okay, and we have to heal that. We can check in and heal it with ourselves. Literally heal ourselves just by getting curious and trusting ourselves enough to sit with it, okay? Now, can I have, okay, that's one. Give me one more affirmation, please, to end this. Just one. I know you keep trying to spit a couple out. Just give me one more, please. On our message today, I really like that one. I am in sync with the flow of life. This is what we're going to start speaking out. Okay, last shuffle. You want me to... Okay. Okay, so this one spit out a couple, and he said, no, we're not giving you no more. But he did give me a few. It was a little pile. So I'm going to read them all, and if any one of these sticks, I don't care. If just one sticks, you're winning. I am in sync with the flow of life. Speak it to the universe. Speak your greatness. Owning my power inspires others to do the same. I am not afraid to shine. When you sit and you go and you sit with all of the things and you peel back the layers and you understand the rage, the anger, the fear, the kindness, the fire, right? Understand the stillness, sitting in the stillness. You understand these things and you can speak this into existence. I celebrate all the greatness in my life. We're not focusing on the negative crap. It's not about toxic positivity. It's about sitting with all of that bad stuff and understanding that that's where your greatest changes came from. From those things when you changed and you maneuvered in life, okay, even if it wasn't the right way, it was to try to avoid those negative things. But when you understand what those negative things were and why they were trying to protect you, how can you be so mad at them, right? It's not, maybe it wasn't the greatest response, but you didn't know any better. So how are you going to punish yourself for something you didn't know any better? So we celebrate the greatness, and we understand that even the negative is great. Instead of taking on the fear of others, I reflect love. Nobody can instill fear in me. You become a point where you become literally fearless because you've overcome everything. If there's something that hasn't overcome, you know you're going to do it because the amount of crisis and stuff you've had to sit with and sort through and cry, scream, get upset, not understand, sit with, go back and forth, 2 steps ahead, 5 steps back, a backflip, a belly crawl. You had to get there. You already know that no matter what, you have nothing to fear. Because at the end of the day, as long as you love yourself, you're going to reflect that love. And then, I am committed to bringing forth my greatness. I will no longer play small. These affirmations are speaking life into yourself. They're speaking healing into the world. And they're speaking your greatness. It already exists. It's already here. 11:33 on the clock. Thank you, Spirit. It's already here. You are your greatest self. And every single day you get to show up and be your greatest self again. Every single day you show up and you try again. You're your greatest self. empower it, speak it in. That healing becomes a lot easier. And creativity flows through me. I am a divine creator. We all have a story. We all have greatness within us, and we all have something to tell, teach, or share. And when we learn that and we use that to our greatest advantage, it doesn't mean you have to come on here. It could be just telling your grandkids. It could be, showing up for other families in the neighborhood and showing them what true leadership and true grace looks like. When I tell you, it doesn't have to, everybody's way is different, but we all have it in us. Our greatness is there. It's already there. We just have to find it. We got to peel back the programming and the layers and the shame and the guilt and the trauma that's been just piled on us since children. When we learn that and we learn how to transmute that into our golden steps forward, we can't ever lose. We just truly can't ever lose. And that's what I have for you guys. This Friday the 5th, yes, because December is the Grace and the Grind. We had to finish this one off, but December is the Grace and the Grind series. So that's where we really talk about expectations, letting them go, other people's expectations, and holding on to these crazy expectations of ourselves, learning how to give ourselves grace. And the first one is the still point. So if you remember a couple episodes back, we did the still point, talking about it in the transmutation fire and flow series. But the reason we're digging into it, because here we had to understand how uncomfortable it was and learn to understand it. But now the still point in this series talks about how we can use that and understand that once we get past the uncomfortable yuck, that is our greatest moment. That still point is where we release all of the old and we get excited about the new, and that's where our resolve comes from. That's where our adventure, that's where our ability to dream. We're not in survival anymore. We're in, look at what's going on out there. What could I be? I could be anything in this world. What would it be? That's where we get to dream. That's where we get to manifest. That's where we get to create our our greatest ideas, right? So that's what's coming this Friday. Keep your eye out for it. There's always ads going up. But they're always going to be, for this month, it will be Fridays at 10. There will be other lives, like when I do my action steps for the signs and stuff. But this one, it will always be on Friday this coming month. And it will always be the Grace and Grind series. It's a 4-part series. But I thank you guys for showing up. And if you get a chance, please stop by and check out my website, creativelyguided.ca. They're the healing hub with the action steps and all of this content. The healing hub is already up. I've created it. My teas and tinctures with the rituals to be present for yourself. Really, they're fantastic to help with dysregulated nervous systems and grounding ourselves and understanding that we are safe here and now. So I have guided journals, I have stories, reflection stories, I have all kinds of good stuff on there, artwork. Go check it out. Also, if you want to watch the replay, you missed it, go to my YouTube at Creativity Guides Me, or now on my website, because actually I created a whole section. So either way, yeah, I thank you guys for showing up. I hope this helps, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Friday for the Grace and the Grind, the Still Point. I love you guys, and have a good day. Thank you.